Hello, everyone. There are amazing people joining us today. Let's admit. We get to admit people, right?
No, I think that they are entering directly. Yeah.
Can they see us?
I think so. Can you see us?
No, I think they have to come in, no?
Okay.
Sure. How would I sign on from outside?
The link is at blue.
Yeah, hello, everybody. We're trying to figure this out ourselves. So this is our very first Zoom call. I'm Claudia Huiza, and this is beautiful Chilean artist, Carmen Mardonez, and welcome to Art Talk for the current artist in residence, Carmen Mardonez. If you are new to Arts at Blue Roof, this is an arts hub in South Central LA offering an artist residency for women artists. We're happy you can join us. We're so happy to be here today. And myself, I'm Claudia Huiza. I'm a local artist, curator, writer, grant writer, and scholar. I write academic work as well. But my passion is to curate art and to share all of my knowledge of 25 years of being in the arts with artists alike, as well as other community members. I'm so pleased to have you here today, Carmen. This beautiful piece behind us is part of the work that Carmen makes. She is a textile worker, a textile arts worker primarily, but she also does sculpture and using found objects. And I am so thrilled to have her here. She's from Chile. She started her art career only 5 years ago, and it's amazing what she has done so far. All day long today, we've been at the Blue Roof, Arts at Blue Roof, basically welcoming the community to view her fabulous show, which is only up for one more week. Please come by. Just let us know ahead of time, and we'll be there no matter the time you want to come to the show. It's called Pinky Promise.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful show full of love and delightful colors. And she does with textiles and common thread. She sews all of that by hand. It's painstaking work. I don't think any of us would want to do it. So I welcome you, and
Thank you, Claudia.
And I thank you. So I think the audience, the first thing we want to know is, how did you come to this work? How did you get inspired? Where did you find the inspiration to do this painstaking labor as a mother, as a cultural producer, as a person who's very aware of the political situation in the world, especially with women, how we are being relegated to going backwards in time?
Yeah.
How does this work get in? Where does it get its influence?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being here. First thing, I don't know if it's the first. I moved here to Los Angeles almost 5 years ago with a newborn because my partner started a PhD at UCLA. And a couple of months before we moved, when I realized that we were pregnant, so our traveling situation changed a little bit. I decided that I didn't want to be just a mom. And I admire so much the women who can be like full-time mom. It's just like I felt that I was trapped on that role. Probably because the education that I got when I was younger. So I decided that at the same time that I was becoming a mom, I will become an artist. I knew that it was like a huge challenge, especially because I have some education on art, but it's not like, I didn't get the grad on art. So and I didn't have connection either in Chile and less in Los Angeles. So I started with a newborn in my apartment 5 years ago. And I learned this freestyle embroidery from a Chilean artist. He's called Victor Espinosa. He showed me a couple of months before I traveled to the US the way that he embroidered and how he used the colors. He was really generous with that. And he's a huge inspiration. After like he showed me the way that he works, I started creating my own work, and I developed my own style to use the sewing machine threads to mix them, and then like getting bigger and bigger in my own work. So yeah.
And it's great. You have to see it. The most fabulous, largest piece that it's amazing. Pinky Promise itself is a joy to see. And you know, I wanted to ask you, when you go about thinking of the next pieces that you're making, I know that you've shared that you sourced some of the materials from friends, from people gifted to you. Tell me a little bit about what you use to make your work. So for example, what we have here is a beautiful piece. May I touch it?
Yeah.
It's touchable. So it's a beautiful piece. And what we see here is, this is obviously a bed sheet.
Yeah, it is.
With little swashes of thread. To me, it looks like a painting.
Yeah.
And the mobility and the motion and the colors are just vibrant and beautiful. Tell me how you find your materials.
Yeah. So of course, I mean, for me, being a textile artist, it was impossible to not recognize all the things that textiles are related with, especially like the textile waste that is like a huge thing right now, but also like the fast fashion, like the women in the South Asia, like working for all the like fast fashion brands and textiles. So I mean, textile, even though like it's really, I mean, it's amazing. It has like a lot of tears and slavery behind. So even, I mean, like I wanted to be able to create art with textile art with pieces or with fabric that already exists. And so I'm mostly creating art with discarded sheets as the one that you see here, but also like with discarded pillows. I started with this during a little bit before the COVID lockdown. I had like one old pillow at home, and I started exploring the possibilities, embroider on it. And then when I like it and I was like locked down at home, I started asking on my Buy Nothing Facebook group, like, hey, do you have a pillow that you are gonna like rip off? And so my neighbors started like saving me their pillows and then sheets. And right now my house is like full of pillows, and it's much more than I can work. But so yeah, that was the casualty because I started. But after probably one or two pieces, like it may click in my like process, because I always work at home in my living room with my child around. So my creative process is really intimate. Like I'm like a mom working at home. So creating art with domestic intimate textiles, like it makes so much sense to me. Like it's just part of my like organic process.
And that was my next question.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself and how do you see your work in the history of the craft? You know, we have always relegated craft art and folk art to like the side of art. We don't consider it supposedly, you know, high art. It's not been considered that, but I think it's been always part of our culture. It's been probably one of the oldest expressions of humanity is, you know, textile and art in that kind of way. That's very domestic. We would call it domestic now. So how do you see yourself in that, placed in that history?
Yeah, well, I learned how embroidery and how to make like beautiful dresses for my future child when I was like 10 years old. So it was always related to me, to this like domestic and useful things. And when I started like embroidering and creating art pieces, it was really hard at the beginning, like to acknowledge myself as an artist, but also like I don't know, to people understand that I was making art, probably because I was embroidering, like, oh, they were like, oh, I also know how embroidery, and my grandma always do embroidery. And it was like, okay, this is not, I mean, I'm glad you do that.
It's not your grandma's embroidery.
But yeah, it was like hard to understand myself as an artist, and it took like a long process to recognize my creative process as an artist. And also because for the last couple of years, like textile artist is like being like super recognized. Right. And there's a lot of men doing like also embroidery. Right. So it kind of tricks me, because when a man does embroidery, everyone is like, oh my God, he's so talented. He's amazing. He can do embroidery. And I mean, I know that there are some textile artists who do like amazing.
It's part of the tradition.
Yeah, it's not that they are not, but it's like if a woman does embroidery, it's like everyone expects that from them. Right. Like if a woman cook, it's like, of course, you were born for that. Right. But so I'm being like trying to like push myself through that, like creating embroidery art that can be recognized in a world that women and men are doing like textile and embroidery. So I'm probably because that challenging myself with the size and with the force, or I don't know, the wildness of my work, trying to create, to blow the mind of all the spectators.
You know, something that really blew my mind, talking with you earlier, all these conversations, we've been having a lot of conversations, we're really getting to know each other. I really love your work, and I love what inspires you. It really, it feels so good to have a breath of fresh air. But anyway, what really blew me away is that I don't know if the audience can see that, but you know, these swatches of color, all of these, like, they look like almost like brushes of color. These are individual tiny little threads. You know, the spools of thread that you buy at the store, it's each individual thread. She takes that, unravels the spool of thread, and then makes her own little swatches of color. So when what a painter uses with a brush to lift the paint and put it here, she's actually blending swatches of little one by one strings of thread to make the big swatches. It is so much work.
It is.
And one of our collectors actually asked this morning, like, how long does something like this take you? It's hours and hours and days. But what blew me away, on top of the diminutive work that you make and the carefully crafted work that you make, is you don't plan it. You're just inspired to do that color, and what turns out to be this amazing harmony and melody of colors. It's almost like I'm watching a beautiful composition. It's musical for me to even look at it. It's a visual musical piece for me as well.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you, you said today, which was really cool, really tell us, share with us, how long does something like this take you? Because I know it's something really special to you.
Yeah, well, I've been working in this piece for the couple of days. So probably today is Saturday.
Days, okay, not years. It would take me years to do something like this, right?
Yeah.
Days.
Yeah.
So unbelievable. You work so fast.
I'm really compulsive in my work. I really love what I do, and I'm getting like really ambitious during the last couple of years. So 5 years ago, I was just concerned to become an artist, and now that I'm feel like an artist, and I have the recognized for my peers to be an artist. Now I don't want to be like any artist. It's like I want to be like a
The
big
best you
one.
can be,
Yeah,
right? And you also seem to have a really strong path, like you know where you're going with it. And I really appreciate that. I'm blown away by how fast you work and your productivity. Like that is one of the things that really makes me happy to see that you're so invested in it and you have so much passion for it. And I really thank you for that, because I think all of us that come in contact with your work have something to take away with us when we leave. Tell me about the piece that picking up on what we were talking about, of the how society wants to put women in their place. You have several pieces as part of this show, Pinky Promise, that speak to that. Let's talk about the two pieces at the two ends of the wall. First, the one here. What does it say? What is it? Tell me a little bit about it. And then why these themes?
Okay. Yeah. So during the last couple of years, like I've been like embroidering like abstract, colorful pieces, and I love that. It's like where I feel like super freedom. But at the same time, for the last couple of years, like a lot is happening in the world. Like at the end of 2019, we have like a huge revolution in Chile that ends like we are writing again our constitution, and hopefully like throwing away the constitution that it was brought during the Pinochet dictatorship.
Right.
And after that, everything, I mean, the Blacks Lives Matter movement started in the US, and the COVID and feminists, like that, we are always everywhere trying to get like more equality and freedom. So all those things happen, and I was really frustrated because my art, even though I love it, I felt that it was not like resonated with the times that I was living. I was like, I want to have a voice as an artist too. So at some point, like some phrases that I hear or some things that someone told me, like it was like I was like thinking all day about that when I was working or when I was with my kid. And at some point, I decided to embroidery those thoughts on some like pillows and pillow sleeves.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I started.
So now you take the pillowcases that came with those pillows that were given to you and that have their own history. We'll talk about the pillowcase later, but now you take the pillowcases and you choose a text-based work, and tell me what that text says. And
so in the show I have like 5 different pieces with different texts. One of the most like popular is one who say like, I refuse to become what I was raised for.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's kind of my artist statement. What I was telling you, when I realized that I was becoming a mom, and I was like panicking about that, and I started embroidering compulsive at that point. I felt myself that when I was embroidering, I was like trying to work like against that race that I had like expect to me to be a like really good mom and wife.
Right.
So why, if I was pregnant, I was like not just like spending all my time and thoughts and love for my kid and that pregnancy and everything. So my art and my creative process is like my rebellion way to, I mean, like, to refuse to be just what I was raised for, and to be able to embroidery and create my own path.
I love the piece at the end, Carmencita. Can you tell me about it? Beautiful piece.
That the piece is Carmen, not Carmencita, and
it's something that's very Latin American. Like we have this diminutive that we call women, but we love them, right? Like if your grandma calls you Claudita or Carmencita, that's acceptable because it comes from love. It comes from a place of love. And sometimes in like my country, I'm from El Salvador, they say, Oiga, señora, Señora Claudita or
Yeah.
Señora Claudita, and that's acceptable because in a way, the tone and the way they're using it is of respect. But tell me what inspired that piece.
Yeah. So when they say like people who loves you call you by that way, it's like they just like trying if my grandma say to me, it's like she's just calling me like a little girl, and I know that I'm her favorite, so I love that. But when a man like called you Carmencita in this case, and we were like having a fighting conversation, and he say like, hey, Carmencita this and Carmencita that, of course he was not doing that because he respect me. It was most because he wants to like remind me where and which was my position in that conversation. So he was expecting me to silence and be agree with him. So that conversation happens at the end of 2019, and for all these years I've been like really, when I remember that, I become like really angry because he was like really disrespectful,
putting you down.
Yes,
right?
yes, and not just calling me Carmencita. He say like a lot of, I mean, like insane things. And so at that point that I was still like, oh my God, why I did allow him to call me by that way? What I didn't like give them that
opportunity. Why was I silent?
Yeah.
We're trained to do that, aren't we? I mean, we're trained to follow the rules, follow the order, try not to fight back. And I think it's a time right now for women to really stand up and fight back. And I love that piece because it kind of fights back.
I mean, it was not that moment, but for me, it's like, okay, it's my revenge. Like even 2 years ago, I'm like, this is also a statement. Like, I'm not your wife. If you want to treat your wife and she's going to allow you to do that, I'm so sorry, but not to me. Like, I'm not going to allow you to do this. And I'm a grown woman, and I'm Carmen, not Carmencita.
Beautiful. I love it. So tell me, I think we have quite a few minutes left. So what next? Where are we going with do you have a new body of work coming up? Are you continuing with the body that you're doing now, which I think is fabulous? I do want to get back to the one pillow piece that we'll talk later, but where now? Where do we want to go now? And are you still interested in doing this kind of work, or do you want to eventually move to other types of materials and other styles?
I'm probably, because I'm like super prolific, I'm always like creating some work and also exploring at the same time.
So what are you exploring with now?
So I'm for this show, I did some punch needle on lemon bag mesh that I use for upholster my all-nighter piece.
That's the one I wanted to talk about. So this is,
it's a hanging sculpture.
It's a beautiful sculpture, but it's based with pillows.
Yes.
But then you also do that new technique, and you like incorporate the bags that lemons come in that you buy at the market, right?
Yes,
all the mesh, because it's almost, that mesh can almost be used like to make carpets and stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Tell me about it.
So I started working with lemon bag mesh like 2017. And then I was like, okay, I'm done, because I want to create like bigger works. And then is when I started with sheets. But when I was doing the art at Blue Roof doing my residency, I realized that I can use the lemon bag mesh as to create bigger pieces when I like sew them together and then I embroider it. So I upholster this like hanging sculpture with a little of those, but I'm like keep working on that, and I'm dreaming about, I don't know if a pinky carpet, like huge one, or I'm not sure yet, but I'm like, I'm almost like a patchwork, like embroidering each lemon bag and like sewing them together and creating, I don't know what.
It's beautiful, that piece. And what's so captivating about it for me, and I hope the audience gets a chance to come see it. I really encourage you all to come. But definitely we'll your website, we'll give out your website so you guys can come to the website. But what's beautiful about it is it's almost like at this moment in time, almost like femininity and feminism reaching out to me, coming out of this box. You have like a box frame, and then the piece is all these pillows that are sewn in with all these beautiful threads, hot pinks and reds, and they're, you know, all this amazing stitching that you've done. And like the forms that you make are so intricate to me, but it's almost like it's coming after me. It's like reaching out to me. And that is so amazing. So tell me about how that came about.
So because I work at home and I nail my embroideries through my living room wall, and there is where I embroidery. I wanted always to give the public the sense of my textile that I get at home. Like I'm surrounded by them. I can touch them. Like sometimes I like grab myself with my textiles. And of course, that's not that easy to make in a gallery or in a group show. Like
they tell you, don't touch the art. Well, this art you can't touch. You want people to feel what
and
I can feel it, you know, I can feel the energy coming out of it. It's amazing.
Thank you. So I was like, how can I create this sense of like tactile work? So I started exploring like with pillows, creating some like shapes, stretching the pillows, and then like upholstering the pillows with my embroidery. So it's like kind of a mix, like my embroidery is getting out of the wall, trying to reach and probably start a conversation with the public. So then is when I start creating these like hanging sculptures who are like attached to a clay board. So it's like, it's a 2D piece that is like getting out.
A 3D piece coming at you. It's amazing.
And I love like the interaction that it happens between the people who is watching or seeing the piece, and they want to get like closer and see all the details.
And if you're a child, you have a different view. If you're a grown up, and taller people, shorter people, and I want to climb the wall and see what's at the top. And it's always something to, every time you look at these works,
it's different.
You see something different. It like changes for you because you didn't notice, you know, like you literally have to go, oh my God, there's something there that I haven't seen before.
So. And those pieces are like really, I mean, because it's upholster, so you need like a really large embroidery to upholster all the curves and everything. So I'm like hoping I can create like a huge mural of that in the future, but it's gonna take time.
That's beautiful. And you have, I hope you have tons of time to do that. And I'm so grateful. I wanted to say to Arts at Blue Roof, and especially Lisa Diane Wedgeworth, for all the support they've given you. I think that this time that you've had the residency there has been an amazing time of growth, of introductions, of possibilities. And I think your work is really amazing. I can't wait to see what else we come up with in the future. And I wanted to mention the largest piece in the show is named Pinky Promise. And that piece is how big? And tell me how you made that.
That piece, so it's a textile mural, is 22 feet per 10 feet. So it's huge. It's made with, it's hand embroidery all by myself. I sew together 4 sheets, and then I like use another one in the
horizontal.
In the horizontal. So because the space, like I embroidery like each sheet separate, and then like I sew them together and I cover again with embroidery. So it was like probably a 3 months.
It's a beautiful piece. And we were talking earlier today about the colors and what inspired you to use those particular colors.
I love colors. And I'm always saving like pictures that I like, that resonate to me, because the colors. So sunsets, storms, I don't know, like forest pictures. And this particular one, this pinky one, is inspired by the pinky sunsets in LA.
The pinky sunsets in LA, all those bright flashes that come out, and you look up at the sky and you know, amazing universe that we have, and you just can't be sad, you know. It's such a joy to see the work. I see a question from Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn, we love you. How do you start a piece like the one that you have behind here? How did you start this piece?
So I'm like super intuitive in my creative process. So usually what I do is I decide in which color palette I'm gonna work, and that depends in my mood. Like if I'm obsessed with pink, I pick a picture like probably 1 year ago and I started with pink, and after that I just let myself like flow. So in this case, this is a commission for a home, and they asked me for blue watercolor. So I like save during the last couple of months like different green pictures that I like it, like some like ocean escapes, I don't know, like forest. And after I pick the colors and I like prepare the colors, as Claudia said, like I use like sewing machine thread, so I have to mix the colors and prepare all the miles that I'm gonna use. And after that I just start embroidering, and it's like super physical. I'm not thinking.
It's an automatic writing way, right?
Like almost just enjoying the process and mixing the colors in that way that I'm feeling it at the moment that I'm doing it.
I have a little bit of insider information. So I know that you have a degree in psychology. How do you think that automatic process was influenced by your learning in psychology? Is it at all related, or is it?
I think that is related, but probably, I mean, like in the way that I gave myself the permission to not think and just to let myself like flow with my mood, with my feelings, like validating that like thing. It's, I mean, like in Chile, I didn't work as an artist. I was working in prisons, another like really like,
wow, that's heavy.
Emotions a lot. So all the day I was like
heavy.
With a lot of things happening. So it was when at that point when I started embroidering again, and when I met Victor and everything, because I needed some permission and space when I can like just be with myself and let go and like get the balance again. So when I was doing a little bit that in Chile, and then when I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming a mom, and of course that a lot of like ways again. So then is when I was like, I really need this to be
a freestyle and a stream of consciousness kind of automatic painting, writing with thread. And it's just really fabulous. I just adore it. So, wow, that's a great, beautiful commission. So amazing. Do you have any readings, influences, or what artists do you love that influence your work, or that you find that you find important for you right now, for you as an artist?
Yeah, of course, like woman artists. Like I have a ton, like I have like some dead artists that are really important, but I love, and it's one of the things that I really enjoy to be an artist now, and with all the social media and everything, is that I'm making friends like everywhere, like around the globe, and they're alive and they're like kind, and they share with me their experience, and that's amazing. So I have like so many friends and artists who inspire me like every day, like someone's with their color, with their braveness, and with, I don't know, like being a woman artist and being like, I don't know, it's not easy. And when you,
especially when you're a mom, like how do you multitask? You know, how you have to provide for your child, you have to make money, you have to survive, and then you have a household to maintain as well, you know.
Well, they always say that it takes a village to raise a kid, and in my experience, like it also takes a village to become an artist. You can't do it by yourself. You need like people who trust you, to support you, to be generous enough to share with you your contacts, your experience. So right now I feel that I have a huge village of people who love me, who support me, and I'm 100% sure that I won't be here if it's not for them.
And in a way, that's what keeps you going.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
of
mean,
course,
it
of course.
inspires you,
Yeah.
and it feeds you, and then you give back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I
And
think
if they trust me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go as far as I can, because that. And I don't know her, but Joana Vasconcelos is a Portuguese artist, and right now I have like a crush with her. She's like, because she does like huge work, super
Right.
colorful, and yeah,
it's like my crush with Carolyn. Your work, I crush all the time. So yeah, that's my crush too.
yeah.
But yeah, that's beautiful. So I'm so grateful that we're having this talk. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with our audience about the themes, about the what makes your work your work? I mean, we have so many beautiful themes. Remember, the two pieces in the middle are very specific theme about race relations in the United States today and in the world. You have these baby blankets that are very small, like maybe 24 inches to 28 inches square. And it's a beautiful baby blanket. It's the back of the baby blanket that we look at. We don't look at the patterns in the front. And it's a very specific message that many of us have lived through. And so share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah. I'm glad you picked, because I can. They're like all my favorite tiles. That one is How Dark Will Your Baby Be?
So the phrase on the little baby blanket is in black, and it says, how dark will your baby be? And that really struck me as a person personally, because my babies are mixed as well. And that was a question that was asked to me as well. And so when you get asked that as a mother, how do you feel, and how did that piece come about for you?
So my mom asked me that question when I was about to marry my partner. And my partner is darker skin than me, and she was like, I don't think that she was thinking much. And she asked me that, and I was like, she was like, how dark? I mean, she's like dark, and she's like has more hair, like your baby's gonna be like hairy, and like, and I was like, okay, mom, like whatever. And I
let it go.
Let it go at that point. And when I was pregnant, I was like, who is gonna be my baby? It was not like I was not afraid of the color. I was more curious about, like, because I love color again, like who is gonna be the mix, like who.
And he's beautiful, by the way. He's a gorgeous child.
But after that,
this plays into the whole history of colonization and the whole history of, like, well, why does that even matter? Like today, like we're all going to be a beautiful mix of colors in the end as we marry, intermarry, and all of that. But it plays into the whole issue of, tastes and colors and classes, and so it's such an important message to have.
Well, in Chile here is like a little bit different, and it's stronger, but it's like skin color is related with class and money. So of course it's important how is your skin if you want to at least like look like a rich person. But when Meghan Markle did like that interview with Oprah, I think that it was like 1 year ago, and she was sharing like what happened with the queen and whatever, and the kids that she was expecting. And when I listened to her, I was like, oh my God, this happens to me. And I didn't like, it was sleeping in my head and in my heart. And after that, like, I was like, thinking on that every day, and I was really mad with my mom, like why I didn't stop there here at that point. And so then is when I embroidered that piece, and I think that it was a way to also heal. I mean, I am not sure that I'm already healed, but it was like to think again and process, like probably how my family feel about my husband and about my kid too. And
it's a
let
very
it go.
personal piece,
Yeah,
and very
it is.
important in your entire work, you know, but your work tends to be about emotions and about feelings. And you have another piece on the entrance of the show, which is, it looks to me, you have actual beadwork in that piece.
Yeah.
It's beautiful piece, intricate. It's a pillow, and it's a very sad pillow to me, and I did not know why, you know. So tell me a little bit about that
Yeah.
piece and how emotions play out in your work.
Yeah. That pillow is called Magdalena, and it's part of my series who's called like Emergence. It was like the first series of pillows that I did at 2020. So part of the experiment that I was doing, I was embroidering on different pillows, and all of them, of course, they were like really colorful. And one day I was talking with a Mexican friend who was like really sad at that moment, and she was like, Carmen, I love your pieces, but where is the sad pillow? Like, I can recognize myself in your current work. All these pillows like looks fun. So I was like, oh, you are right. I'm like forgetting the tears pillows, like so many tears in each. I don't know, like the sad, the hopeless, the even the happiness tears.
People
So
cry on their pillows.
yeah, a
People
lot.
cry of pain.
Yeah.
People cry of
Frustration.
yeah, and then but they
madness.
also have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I've cried in bliss.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. So when I did that piece, I was imagining like when people has like their pillows like in front of their face, like crying there. And so what I did is I collect all the beads that I have at home that kind of look like tears for me, like in the
Yeah.
tones.
Yeah.
And so then it's when that pillow happens. Like it's my tear Magdalena, of course, because
Yeah.
at least in Chile, when someone is good to cry, it's a Magdalena. So yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces.
It is. It's
Yeah,
really gorgeous.
yeah.
It's still available if somebody wants
Yeah,
to
I
come
can't
look
believe
at
it.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're a rising star in our world, and I'm so grateful to welcome you. You are family to me, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And I thank you for this time. I see some other comments of mujeres that have also lived through what we've lived through as people who are very aware and trying to change what is the norm. We attack the norm, and we don't take what is expected of us, and we're moving forward with all the things that we have to do. So I think we your community expect great things from you, and I can't wait to see what comes next. I know that this
Thank you.
residency was amazing for
Yeah,
you.
it was.
It's been a pleasure to work with you, and we have many more shows to build
Yeah.
together, and many more art pieces to discuss. So I wanted to thank everybody who's joined us. Thank you so much. Everybody who's going to watch this in the future, this interview will be posted on the website so that everybody has access to it. And Carmen, tell us your website so that people can go to the website
Yeah.
to see your work. And also remember, everyone, Pinky Promise is available and open almost any time that you want to come to see the works until this Friday, the 28th.
Yes. And you can find me on my website, carmenmardonez.com, and on Instagram, that I try to share all my process and my daily insane life, creativity, and is at Desbordado.
DES, B as in boy, ORDADO, desbordado, like desbordar, to unravel,
Yeah.
unravel. I think we should probably try to figure out how to do this in Spanish again. So
Yeah.
we'll probably do this for a
We
for a
should.
Latino or Spanish audience or Spanish speaking people, and we'll figure it out eventually. But I've had such a joy talking to you, and I hope
Thank
you
you.
all enjoy her work as well. And we'll be in touch soon. Thank you to Arts at Blue Roofs for giving us this platform and this opportunity. Thank you, Garia Lynn, for sharing your studio and your beautiful space with all of these women artists as part of the A.I.R residency. And I thank you all, our audience, for being with us today. Ciao.